Streets of Rage 2 is the sequel to Sega's hit Streets of Rage, and was released for the Sega Genesis in 1992. The game improves and tweaks nearly every aspect of the original, and is often cited as the best beat-em-up of all time. The game takes place 1 year after the events of the first game, and again our heroes are on a quest to take down the crime boss Mr. X, and return order to an unnamed city taken over by the crime syndicate. Axel and Blaze return and are joined by newcomers Skate and Max Thunder. The 4 characters' movesets and general flow have been greatly expanded, and all 4 characters feel very different from each other. Skate predictably sports inline skates and has a dash move allowing him to zip around the screen, which changes up the game dramatically. Max Thunder is a giant lumbering wrestler with a lot of power but very slow. Axel and Blaze fit more in the middle of the spectrum, with more balanced power and speed. The great variety between the characters makes playing through the game with each a unique experience, as how you attack the onslaught of enemies changes. The thing I like most about the Streets of Rage games is different enemies require different strategies. This large jumping enemy squashes little Skate, requiring Skate to use a jumping attack to take him down. Max Thunder, on the other hand, has no problems countering him with just a normal punch. There is a huge layer of depth here, setting Streets of Rage 2 above its contemporaries. By their very nature, beat-em-ups are repetitive, yet Streets of Rage 2 manages to feel rather fresh and different from start to finish. This variety is further enhanced by the level design. Now, Streets of Rage 2 does follow a very familiar path as the first game. This does make sense, as we are effectively making our way from the streets to Mr. X's tower a second time. Thankfully, everything has been dramatically enhanced. The graphics here are simply stunning. Everything is more detailed, and the use of color is excellent. Everything pops off the screen, and you'd be hard-pressed to identify the Genesis hardware has any sort of color limitations. The streets feel more alive. The bridge, boat, and factory levels are significantly upgraded, to the point you don't mind you've been here before. The 8 stages are broken up more as well, and you won't spend a long time in one environment before moving on to the next. The pirate-themed bar is awesome, as is the alien stage, and I loved how the pitcher's mound is a secret elevator. Streets of Rage 2 has so many little touches, you're likely to keep discovering new things with each playthrough. Also improved are the animations. The walking animations no longer look so stiff and strange, and the gait of each character looks more graceful. The different moves all look terrific as well, and generally do a good job conveying the feeling of power as you brawl through waves of bad guys. Following in the footsteps of its predecessor, Streets of Rage 2 features an awesome soundtrack, unlike anything else available on the hardware. The same sound engine is again used here, and is incredible, with crystal clear instrument samples and catchy melodic beats. The subtle mix of dance and techno fits the entire game perfectly, and helps elevate this past other titles of the era. The sound effects have also received a nice upgrade, and the various grunts and screams don't sound so distorted and crunchy. Streets of Rage 2 is the perfect example of what a sequel should be. Not only have the visuals taken a nice step forward, gameplay elements have also been overhauled. More specifically, the special moves. In the previous game, you got one special attack per life, which called in the cops who launched some missiles. In this game, the special moves are actually special moves. They are extremely powerful attacks that are balanced with the drawback of losing life when you utilize them. It's a nice touch and can be incredibly useful for finishing off bosses or getting yourself out of other jams. Each of the bad guys also features a life bar, which is a useful addition. All of these little upgrades and touches really add up to a complete, satisfying, immensely enjoyable experience. The developers figured out how to create a beat-em-up that doesn't feel repetitive or wear out its welcome. From the difficulty curve to the moveset and the spot-on collision detection, this game is a blast. On top of that, you have 4 distinct characters with new moves and strategies, adding depth and replayability, as well as a 2-player mode. Combine that with some of the best graphics and sound ever to grace the Sega Genesis, and you have a masterpiece. 5 out of 5.